What if I told you that most of your frustration in life comes from being in the wrong season at the wrong time? What if the reason you feel stuck, stressed, or out of sync isn't because you're doing something wrong, but because you're fighting against life's natural rhythm? King Solomon discovered the secret to perfect timing 3,000 years ago, and it's hidden in the most quoted passage of his entire book. By the end of this video, you'll understand why timing truly is everything and how to recognize what season you're actually in. Welcome back to What Really Matters, our journey through the wisdom of Ecclesiastes. I'm Emmanuel, and if you're just joining us, we're exploring King Solomon's discoveries about what actually brings fulfillment in life. In our previous episodes, we learned that chasing success leaves you empty, and that pleasure cannot provide lasting satisfaction. Today, we're diving into Ecclesiastes chapter 3, arguably the most famous chapter in the entire book. You've probably heard these words before. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. But what you might not know is that this isn't just beautiful poetry. It's a profound psychological insight that explains why so many people feel frustrated, overwhelmed, and out of sync with their lives. Solomon discovered that life has natural rhythms, and fighting against these rhythms is a major source of human misery. When you learn to recognize and flow with life's seasons, everything becomes easier. If you're tired of feeling like you're swimming upstream in your own life, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because this episode is going to change how you think about timing, decision-making, and life planning.
The rhythm of life. Solomon begins chapter 3 with one of the most profound observations about human existence. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. This isn't just about agricultural seasons or calendar timing. Solomon is describing something deeper, the natural rhythms that govern all of life. Just as nature has seasons that you can't rush or skip, human life has seasons that have their own logic and timing. The Hebrew word for season here is zaman, which doesn't just mean time, it means the right time, the appointed time, the perfect moment for something to happen. Solomon is saying that there's a perfect timing for everything in life, and wisdom comes from recognizing what season you're in and aligning your actions accordingly. The famous list. Then Solomon gives us that famous list, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. This list isn't random. Solomon is systematically covering every aspect of human experience, birth and death, construction and destruction, love and hate, war and peace, gathering and scattering, speaking and silence.
The modern misunderstanding. Our culture has completely lost this wisdom. We live in an always-on society that expects constant growth, constant productivity, constant positivity. We've created a culture that doesn't acknowledge seasons. Social media makes this worse. Instagram doesn't have seasons. It's an endless stream of highlight reels. LinkedIn doesn't acknowledge down seasons. It's constant career updates and achievements. We're always supposed to be crushing it, growing, optimizing. But Solomon understood something we've forgotten. There are seasons when the right action is to tear down, not build up. Seasons when the right action is to be silent, not speak. Seasons when the right action is to let go, not gather. The Steve Jobs example. Think about Steve Jobs' career. In the 1980s, he was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. By our cultural standards, this should have been viewed as pure failure. But Jobs later said that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have happened to him. Why? Because he was in a season of learning and growth, not a season of leading a major corporation. During his time away from Apple, Jobs founded Next and Pixar. He developed the skills and wisdom he would later need to transform Apple into the most valuable company in the world. If Jobs had fought against that season, if he had spent all his energy trying to get back to Apple immediately, he would have missed the learning and growth that made his later success possible. The seasonal wisdom. Solomon understood that each season has its own purpose and its own gifts. You can't plant and harvest simultaneously. You can't build and tear down at the same time. You can't gather and scatter in the same moment. But in our impatient culture, we try to do exactly that. We want to be in multiple seasons simultaneously. We want to build our career while also being fully present for our young children. We want to save money while also spending on experiences. We want to learn new skills while also maximizing our current expertise. This creates what psychologists call cognitive overload. We're trying to operate in conflicting seasons, and it's exhausting. The Oprah season recognition. Oprah Winfrey is a master of seasonal thinking, though she might not describe it that way. Throughout her career, she's recognized different seasons and aligned her actions accordingly. In the 1980s and 1990s, she was in a season of building her media empire. She focused intensely on The Oprah Winfrey Show, building her brand and influence. In the 2000s, she recognized she was entering a deeper impact. She shifted focus to meaningful content, book clubs, and using her platform for social good. In 2011, she ended her daily show at the height of its success because she recognized she was entering a new season. Instead of trying to maintain the old season, she embraced the new one and launched OWN. Most people would have tried to maintain the talk show while building the network. Oprah understood that success comes from recognizing your season and fully committing to it. The parenting seasons. Parenting has very clear seasons, and recognizing them is crucial for both parent and child well-being. When children are infants, it's a season of intense caregiving and sacrifice. The right action is to focus on meeting their basic needs and forming attachment. Trying to have a social life or career advancement during this season often leads to frustration. When children are school age, it's a season of guidance and structure. The right action is to teach values, establish routines, and be actively involved in their development. When children are teenagers, it's a season of increasing independence. The right action is to guide from a distance and prepare them for adulthood. Trying to control them like you did when they were 8 creates conflict. When children are adults, it's a season of friendship and advice giving only when asked. Many parents struggle with this transition because they're trying to operate in an outdated season. The business seasons. Businesses have seasons too. There are seasons for research and development, seasons for aggressive growth, seasons for consolidation, and seasons for transformation or even closure. Many businesses fail because they don't recognize their seasons. They try to grow aggressively when they should be consolidating. They try to maintain the status quo when they should be transforming. Netflix is a great example of seasonal wisdom. They recognized they were entering a new season when streaming became possible. Instead of trying to maintain their DVD business while building streaming, they cannibalized their own profitable business to align with the new season. Blockbuster failed because they tried to maintain the old season, physical rentals, while half-heartedly embracing the new season, digital streaming. They ended up succeeding in neither.
The economic seasons. Even economies have seasons. There are seasons of expansion and seasons of contraction, seasons of innovation and seasons of stability. Smart investors understand this. Warren Buffett's famous advice to be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful is seasonal wisdom. When the market is in a season of irrational exuberance, the wise action is caution. When the market is in a season of fear, the wise action is opportunism. Most people do the opposite. They invest heavily during bull markets, when they should be cautious, and sell during bear markets, when they should be buying. They're fighting against the seasons instead of flowing with them. The health seasons. Your body has seasons too. There are seasons of high energy and seasons of rest, seasons of intense training and seasons of recovery, seasons of growth and seasons of maintenance. The fitness industry often ignores this, promoting constant intensity and perpetual improvement. But athletes understand seasonal periodization. They have off-seasons for recovery, pre-seasons for building, and peak seasons for performance. Trying to maintain peak performance year-round leads to burnout and injury. Recognizing your body's seasons and aligning your activities accordingly leads to sustainable health and performance.
The creative seasons. Creativity has seasons too. There are seasons of input, reading, learning, experiencing, and seasons of output, creating, producing, sharing. There are seasons of experimentation and seasons of mastery. Many creative people get frustrated because they try to be constantly productive. But creativity requires fallow periods, times when you're not actively creating, but absorbing and processing. Maya Angelou understood this. She would rent a hotel room with nothing but a legal pad and a bottle of sherry and write intensively for months. Then she would take months off to live, experience, and gather material for the next book. She recognized that her creative process had seasons, and she aligned her life accordingly. The spiritual seasons. Even spiritual life has seasons. There are seasons of closeness to God and seasons of feeling distant, seasons of clarity and seasons of confusion, seasons of activity and seasons of contemplation. Many people think spiritual seasons that aren't high seasons indicate something is wrong. But the great mystics understood that spiritual dryness is often preparation for deeper growth. Mother Teresa experienced decades of spiritual dryness while serving the poor in Calcutta. She could have interpreted this as spiritual failure, but she recognized it as a season of deeper service and hidden growth. The social seasons. Your social life has seasons too. There are seasons for building new relationships and seasons for deepening existing ones. Seasons for large social groups and seasons for intimate friendships. Seasons for giving and seasons for receiving. Social media disrupts these natural seasons by creating the expectation of constant social engagement. But Solomon understood that there's a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Sometimes the healthiest thing is social solitude. The learning seasons. Learning has seasons. There are seasons for broad exploration and seasons for deep specialization. Seasons for theoretical study and seasons for practical application. The education system often ignores this, expecting constant linear progress. But real learning happens in seasons. Periods of intensive growth followed by periods of integration and practice. Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule is really about recognizing when you're in a season of skill development and committing fully to that season rather than trying to multitask your way to mastery.
Seasonal assessment. So, how do you apply Solomon's seasonal wisdom to your own life? Let me give you a practical framework. Step 1. Identify your current seasons. Take inventory of the major areas of your life and identify what season each area is currently in. Career? Are you in a learning season, building season, leadership season, or transition season? Relationships? Are you in a season of meeting new people, deepening existing relationships, or working through challenges? Health?
Are you in a season of building fitness, maintaining health, or recovering from illness or injury? Finances. Are you in a season of earning, saving, investing, or spending? Personal growth. Are you in a season of learning new skills, applying existing knowledge, or integrating life experiences? Spiritual life. Are you in a season of seeking, growing, serving, or contemplating? Step 2. Align your actions with your seasons. Once you've identified your seasons, align your actions accordingly. Stop trying to operate in multiple conflicting seasons simultaneously. If you're in a career learning season, don't expect to be leading major initiatives. Focus on absorbing knowledge and developing skills. If you're in a relationship deepening season, don't spread your social energy thin. Invest deeply in your most important relationships. If you're in a financial saving season, don't feel guilty about not spending on experiences. Embrace the discipline of accumulation. Step 3. Embrace seasonal transitions. Recognize when seasons are changing and embrace the transition instead of fighting it. Seasons don't change instantly. There are transitional periods that require patience and adjustment. If you're transitioning from a learning season to a building season in your career, don't expect to immediately operate at full capacity. Give yourself time to adjust. If your children are transitioning from childhood to adolescence, adjust your parenting approach gradually, rather than clinging to strategies that worked in the previous season. Step 4. Practice seasonal patience. Understand that some things can only happen in their proper season. You can't rush the seasons, and trying to do so creates frustration and poor results. If you're in a season of healing from a broken relationship, don't try to immediately start dating. Honor the healing season fully. If you're in a season of building your business, don't expect it to immediately generate the profits of a mature company. Trust the building process.
The Season Journal. Here's a practical exercise. Keep a season journal for the next month. Each week, write down, what season do I think I'm in for each major area of my life? Am I fighting against any of these seasons? What would it look like to fully embrace my current seasons? What signs am I seeing that any seasons might be changing? This practice will develop your seasonal awareness and help you make better decisions aligned with life's natural rhythms. The Seasonal Decision Framework. Before making any major decision, ask yourself these questions. What season am I currently in? What season would this decision move me into? Am I ready for that seasonal transition? What would I need to let go of to fully embrace the new season? This framework will help you make decisions that flow with life's natural rhythms, rather than fighting against them.
The liberation of seasons. Solomon's seasonal wisdom is incredibly liberating. It gives you permission to be in whatever season you're actually in, rather than the season you think you should be in. You don't have to be building and growing and optimizing all the time. Sometimes the wise action is to rest, reflect, or even tear down what isn't working. You don't have to maintain the same energy and focus in every area of your life simultaneously. You can have seasons of intense career focus and seasons of intense family focus. Understanding seasons removes the pressure to do everything all the time and gives you permission to focus on what's appropriate for your current season. The beautiful balance. Solomon ends chapter 3 with this insight. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Also, he has put eternity in their hearts, except that no one can find out the work that God does from beginning to end. There's a beauty in each season when you're fully present to it instead of wishing you were in a different season. The season of planting has its own beauty. different from but equal to the season of harvest.
Next episode, preview. This brings us perfectly to our next episode, Better Together, where we dive into Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and Solomon's discoveries about relationships and community. We'll explore why isolation is one of the biggest threats to human happiness, how to build relationships that actually last, and why two are better than one isn't just a nice saying, it's a fundamental principle of human flourishing. We'll also look at why our hyper-connected generation is the most lonely in history, and what Solomon's ancient wisdom teaches us about building genuine community in a digital age. Your seasonal assignment. Before our next episode, I want you to practice seasonal awareness. Choose one area of your life where you've been feeling frustrated or stuck, and ask yourself, what if I'm trying to operate in the wrong season? Maybe you're trying to harvest when you should be planting. Maybe you're trying to build when you should be resting. Maybe you're trying to gather when you should be scattering. What would it look like to honor the season you're actually in?
The timing truth. Remember, Solomon's message isn't that you're powerless over your circumstances. His message is that wisdom comes from recognizing the natural rhythms of life and aligning yourself with them rather than fighting against them. When you flow with life's seasons instead of fighting them, you discover that there truly is a perfect time for everything, and that time might be now. If this episode helped you recognize what season you're in, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let me know in the comments, what season do you think you're currently in, and how might that change how you approach your life? I'm Emmanuel, and I'll see you in our next episode where Solomon teaches us why isolation is the enemy of happiness and how to build relationships that actually sustain you through all of life's seasons. Remember, don't fight the seasons, flow with them.